Sorry, man.
You could have gone any other time. I've got 3 poems. I'm only going to read 2, so you have to pick the first. One is, it's either going to be a poem about the ocean, which is a love poem, or a poem about a cat, which is another love poem.
Cat.
Cat. Love poem.
Cat.
Think of cat? All right. This poem is called Profoundly. It was the first poem I ever published in a magazine. It was my most successful poem, and I have no idea why. Really, I just don't get it. I have so many other poems. All right, Profoundly. There was once a young cat named Tim, who hated the way that the world looked at him. He tossed and he turned, and often he learned of this bright and shining world, thought that he had burned much too dim. He lived in a home with his mom. One morning, when the sun's glistening glowed, she was gone. He was saddened when his mom abandoned him, leaving him dreaming of singing her soulful, sombering songs. Searched and he searched, all through the house, and his thirst grew to worse, and it hurt his mouth. He cried and he moaned each time that it showed how his mother and brother left him alone as a child. He wandered through the streets. He talked to 2s and 3s and never stopped. Exclusion seemed the only end of any outcome. They are not my friends. I stand without one. Lies became honesty, and honestly, truth became deceit. Night became the day, frightening away any suitors he would say were so suitable to stay. Dark became the tunnel. Spark he came to mumble, and heartless trains befuddled paved the way, and one train stopped along a ditch which contained some sun-stained rocks, and out walked a cat. Trapped in singularity, she was a girl, and she stepped as though she said the world was to carry me. She maybe sat at quarter posture, bathing, licking all the water off her alone and still, yet the home where she slept was not as cold or as wet as the moments she kept to offer. That night he scavenged the forest, asking for porridge, searching for fire, a burning desire to capture the hopeless. In a bottle of fireflies, the ensemble inside his eyes when he saw her was impossible to underline or even focus on, and so immortals walk along the crossroads like a sonnet drawn through potholes in the cosmos sky, and 2 kittens sit and count the stars of Milky Way until they say it's infinite. Giving into natural assumptions they thought benign, they each pondered near the diluted ember, and each house cat that tried to remember about the past was a mouse, in that they kept on hiding in the walls to shine through the center before finding little paws and siding with the cinder blocks. He listened, walked her to her home, and only gained her vocal distributions and astronomical illusions, and truly there, their nuclear infusion perpetuated rolling trains. Thank you.
Woo!
That was an old one. That's probably 5 years old now. So I'm going to do a new one. It's called Lease. It's actually newer than my book. So here's Lease. So I forget the first line all the time. I took the job. The first one I could find. It did not feel wrong when you were by my side. I barely made enough to pay for paper cuts. I received believing that we could not wait for what would happen if the minutes I had wasted turned to furnishings and vases. All so urgently I was faced with my first check. And I thought it wasn't worth what I had given. And I wanted to be first, but listen, it was honestly the worst decision I had ever made to never pay attention to the better things, to the God who walked on feathered wings. I was lost, accosted by my memories, fostered my insanity. All I wanted was a family, but a want is often manifested doom to the sad and tragic tomb. Let me avalanche into the empty avenue where you live with our son, and you give him a home, and I should thank you. And I'm too late to. I don't hate you, but you must know when that first check was all I had, I wrote his name upon the back. I was aimless, but at least I knew I would one day pay the lease. So I asked for Sunday, Monday, please, to stay too late on Tuesday, please. Then on Wednesday we would meet. I knew I would one day pay the lease, but by Thursday you had turned away. By Friday you were like a stranger. Saturday I spent half the day waging war with the woman I was fighting for. You knew I wasn't writing anymore. You knew that I was hiding by the door. Silence was a chore and childcare was an island. I didn't know what went wrong, how to fix it. All along, now I miss it. Fighting, it was fear. Fear, it was igniting like a match, and you would match me blow for blow, and so what? So I was not so alone when this was an open home, when it did not have these locks, these chains, these painful pockets in our veins, this wasted watch. It tick-tocks your name, broken, though it only knows my pain, but it still ticks. Because I cannot say goodbye. Can we still talk? I think I make too much. I think I want to... I forget. I think I want to turn these down. I think I make too much. I think I want to turn these dollars into change, at least enough to clear the rain up from these waterways. And I just wanted ways to pay the lease. I just lost the phase that came beneath. Now the only must that I can muster is that I must release. Thank you.